All right, Grant, pre-show shenanigans. So right before we started recording this, we were talking about buyouts. We were talking about coach buyouts. We were looking at Norvell. You had the I would say whimsical idea that FSU will buy out Norvell and Deion Sanders will go there. But that made me think of something that just happened recently that I kind of mentioned. We kind of mentioned in the last episode about all the the owl schools firing their coaches. Grant, I don't know if you saw this, but FAU, for their buyouts, have a provision where you don't actually get fired, you get reassigned. So
Hmm.
I don't
I'm
remember
not
who the
familiar.
last coach was, but they reassigned him from being the head coach
Could it be Lane
to
Kiffin? Was that the
no
last?
at FAU. No,
Yeah,
no, 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 no.
Lane Kiffin was
But
at FA, but
it might have been Tom Herman or something. I don't remember.
well,
But
that's what
that's
just
this one.
happened.
Yeah, that's this
Tom
one.
Herman.
I don't know who the other. But anyways, so the guy this before Herman, right? When he got fired in quotations, he got reassigned
I'm
to
pretty sure it's Lane Kiffin, but keep going.
he got maybe this is just specific to Herman then. I thought it was for somebody before. Either way though, got reassigned to facility operations for uh for the athletic facility. Like going from one day you're the head coach, the next day you're swiping in cards to be an RA for your players. That's quite
Wait,
literally what has happened. That's
I'm
what they
just making
do.
sure. I think that it was Willie Taggart, who's currently
Yes,
the
Taggart.
running back coach for the Baltimore Ravens, was a head coach for
I think that sounds right.
USF, Oregon, Florida State, and FAU
Yeah,
before.
so I'm pretty sure it was Taggart. Taggart got reassigned, and it's still in Herman's contracts the same thing. Reassigned to facility operations from head coach, and then from there you can quit and
So
have a
facility
smaller buyout.
operations that can technically count as like head of hydroelectronic planning for the building.
I don't know. I was thinking
Is
more
that
like janitorials
yeah, no,
ordeal
no, yeah,
stuff.
like
But
yeah, like
that's because
mopping the
that's what it's
floor.
fun. That's what it's funnier is you get reassigned from being the head coach to literally the janitorial staff.
Yeah, I mean, while we're just on the topic
I'm
of
just like, what would be the funniest
buyouts,
thing?
I think right now one of the funniest things possible is if you get caught having a coach on an opposing staff on your sideline, and then 5 days
Oh yeah,
before the NOA comes out, you retire with 2 weeks left in the season. Pretty awfully
yeah.
convenient
I don't
timing.
know. That sounds oddly familiar. I don't know. Yeah, like I
Yeah,
don't
it's a
know.
little
It's very
interesting how
familiar.
the Central Michigan head coach just retired, and it's Jim McElwain. Now, Jim McElwain has made some headlines recently for a infamous picture of him with a marine animal on a boat. But Jim McElwain, look that up at your own discretion. Be advised.
uh, okay.
Look that up with your own I don't know risk involved.
Incognito
But
mode potentially,
uh,
or is he
yeah,
not?
yeah,
Oh God.
yeah.
All right.
But Jim McElwain last year, when there were video pictures, video evidence of Connor Stallions, who at the time was a Michigan staffer, on the sideline of the Central Michigan State game. I don't know why Michigan would have any interest in a Michigan State opponent. I'm just doing some quick thoughts here, but I don't see any reason why Michigan would care at all about Michigan State. They have zero relationship with each other at all. So I don't really know why they'd be interested in Michigan State, but he was on the sideline for the Central Michigan game talking to coordinators on critical downs. So clearly, Central Michigan was aware that this staffer was going to be there for the game and was going to help
Yeah.
them out.
They're
They were
aware who he is. Yeah.
pretty aware of that, and I just think it's really convenient that Jim McElwain not just like steps away from the game. It's just I'm done. I'm hanging it up right now on November 19th on a Tuesday. Hanging it up on a Tuesday with 3 games, 2 games left. Oh, no, that makes sense. Makes total sense.
Yeah. Why? That's like the question. You're hanging it up. Like you're not going to wait 2 more weeks, or you weren't going to do it at the start of the season. Like, why are you doing it right now? Like, it's suspicious timing.
Yeah,
Suspicious timing.
maybe.
But
maybe there's about to be evidence coming out next week that he was very aware that maybe, but no, what they didn't do anything. Like we don't even know that was Connor Stallions on the sideline. We're not. We
yeah,
don't even know that.
I
It's not
want
like Dave Portnoy exposed that on a Netflix
yeah,
show or
no,
anything.
no. I do just want to. My point of the pre-show was going to be getting into what the funniest things to get. You went on a tangent.
I got quite invested in that one. Boy,
it was gonna
funny.
be. It was gonna be what would be the funniest thing to get reassigned to from being head coach. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
We are a little bit like,
okay, realistically, the funniest thing to be reassigned to, it's if Mike Fat Carthy got reassigned to the head coach of the Dallas Cowgirls. Okay, that would be the funniest job reassignment
I'm thinking
possible.
about like Honey Boo Boo.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, Honey Boo Boo would probably command the Dallas Cowboys locker room better than Mike Fat Carthy, right? I know Honey Boo Boo don't take shit from nobody. So at least Honey Boo Boo would lay down her foot when she needs to.
Yeah. Also, if you don't know who Honey Boo Boo is, you're probably too young to be listening to this. So we'll start there.
While we're just right now, I there's been a recent movement, not on my TikTok, but my older brother's TikTok, and he's telling me that the young high school kids right now are like, I'm trying to think of the word. Not like fantasizing, but like celebrating, cherishing. They're wishing that they were in high school in 2016 is what I'm trying to get at. Like they wish, they were in high school at that time. They think 2016, 17, like objectively speaking, you just look at it, they're like, no, that was like the goated year to be a high schooler.
Yeah, unfortunately, that would mean your high school career ends with COVID, but to each their own. I guess. Hey, you know what?
Graduate in 2016.
I was going to say, you win some, you lose some. We were in high school in 2016, but we also, which was great, but we did lose. Quite literally lost our graduation. Yeah, people forget about that. Always forget about that one. Anyways, though, yeah, that was Brand's microphone's out. This is going to be a super fun. We got to get we got to get the unnamed intern in there to actually do his job and fix what he's supposed to be doing. That's
well, this is I don't know.
You're back now.
Wait. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, now I can hear you. Oh, yeah,
we got multiple technological failures on that side. But I think we'll probably just start the episode now.
Yeah, we'll get into it. All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, the Waterboy Podcast Days, episode 276. We got a new college football playoff ranking to go over. Big week of NFL, the week before Thanksgiving. This is the least amount of NFL football games we'll see in a single week all season. We have 6 teams on bye this week. This is also the fantasy football waiver wire scramble week. Yeah, so this is the week where if there's anyone out there with like Josh Allen, James Cook, any Bengals players, you're looking at your team like,
ooh,
Tyrone Tracy's going to have to put up some big numbers for me this week.
I am in a league right now. I'm projected 120 points. My opponent, Grant, is projected 19. That's how many players he has on bye. He's projected 19 points.
Yeah, and I will say this. I think, objectively speaking, stacking all your bye weeks on one week is probably the smart strategy. If it's hard to do,
if your team is good. If your team is good. Otherwise, it doesn't matter.
Hard to execute.
Otherwise, that might be the nail in the coffin of you doing your fantasy football punishment. So you got to, there's equal weight to both sides of the situation.
There is, right? There is that. I would say, when you're on your massive stacked bye week, that's a week where you're like one of the first people to suggest the lowest score punishment the next week. And you're like, how about for this next week, go nice and easy. Someone has to wear like a banana suit to class, just nothing crazy.
You do the weekly punishments. That's, I was talking about the year-end punishment.
Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that.
Where you're locked into it by losing the bye week.
My favorite leagues are not, obviously you can't have like the Waffle House 24-hour challenge.
Could you
every
imagine
week
it gets progressively worse and that's the starting line is week 1, your lowest points scored, Waffle House, 24 hours.
If that's the starting line,
worse.
Everybody in that league should be like sent to the FBI for investigation. Like you are a menace to society. If you have that be the starting bar. But yeah, no, we have massive stuff to go over this week. We start off NFL, start off college. Where we want to go, Everett?
I think with the amount of bye weeks, it's probably more beneficial just to start off with the NFL because it's probably not going to take us as long. There's also general NFL news to talk about, and I think that's where we'll start, Grant. The first thing
I'd also say probably the biggest game of the Chargers season, just because it's the Harbaugh Bowl.
Yeah,
just in terms of
I was going to say, look, you did go to a fantastic game last week, but if you might need to make a second trip. You might need to make a second.
Well, there may or may not be plans right now with our most recurring guest on the podcast, Mr. Chadwick Odell Bailey, to attend this game together as Bolt Army. So that is being discussed.
There's an expectation that there will be exclusive content posted on Instagram or TikTok, if that's the case. But
that is being discussed currently.
Yeah, the contracts are in negotiation stages. Yeah. But Grant,
finalized.
I wanted to start off though with not the games itself, but with some news from this week. I wanted to start off. Both things that I'm going to address here are related to New York teams. All right, the first thing that I'm going to address, and I think you'll phase into what you want to talk about in a little bit, but the first thing is the New York Giants. Grant, I want to talk about Daniel Jones because I think this is hilarious. This is objectively hilarious. He's getting paid $160 million, Grant. No thanks to Ed Donatel. You guys are welcome, Giants fans. Did you guys, favor to society? You guys got to keep Daniel Jones. You're welcome. But Grant, he has been relegated to scout team. He's QB4 right now. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah, I did see that. Also, justice for Drew Lock. He was promised the backup.
Yeah. He was promised the backup role. It is true. He is still QB2. He's quite literally maintaining the QB2 role.
You are correct.
So he is doing what he's promised.
There.
You are correct. Quite literally getting his promise. Right. So I can't.
You are correct.
I can't say.
You know what? Shit. I tried to defend Drew Lock. Never mind, dog.
He quite literally
asked for this.
Got what
you
he
got
wanted.
Exactly what you wished for.
I will say QB1 and QB2 are quite literally just vibes right now for
the
Giants.
Even QB1 for the Giants, like DeVito right now, it's like bro.
Which I will say, I did run into a problem with that in looking to this week's matchup because of the vibes that just come out of Tommy Cutlets. But Grant,
he's due for one win. He's due for one.
He's gonna get one. It's just a matter of
get
which
one.
game
we need
it
to
is.
Find it.
Yeah, that's the problem. But Grant, obviously Daniel Jones is currently on scout team. He's playing safety. First of all, I want to give a round of applause. Currently the highest paid safety in NFL history, Daniel Jones, Grant. Highest paid finger snaps, highest paid safety.
We got to give credit where credit's due
in NFL history.
And we're
Daniel
shouting
Jones.
out
Ed Donatel.
I want to make sure we're shouting out Ed Donatel for the highest paid safety in NFL history. Shout out Eddie D.
Snaps.
Eddie D. He's making history. He's making careers.
Yep.
Some things are bigger than sports. I do
also want to add. This is from Ian Hertens. Always cite your sources, kids. Always cite your sources. So I can't claim that this was my brainchild. But he said faking a knee injury while playing scout team safety to screw up the Giants' plans would just be absolutely hilarious. Yeah, Daniel Jones has the funniest chance to do something of all time. He could literally just sit there and just absolutely ruin the Giants' game plan by getting hurt in the same manner that he has over like the past 3 years in practice. So.
Yeah, I would say if I were Daniel Jones right now, like what's going through my mind as I wake up and go to the practice facility? He probably like wakes up, checks his bank account, looks at it, and he sees
plus $2 million for today.
Then
Just
he just reads
ah,
what his buyout is when he gets cut, and he's like, "Nice, they're paying me like 70 million. Nice, nice." And then he's like probably sitting there like calling up his like former roommate at Duke, who's at Goldman, and he's like, "So like you have a spot for me on the trading floor, right?" He's like, yes, Daniel, we do. It's yeah, he might go get his MBA right now. Like
hey, I will
I don't know.
say, Daniel Jones is lined up to be a real nice backup quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders next year.
It's if he wants to do that. I think he
Oh,
should. I think he should. I think there's no better job on the planet than backup quarterback. Like Chase Daniel had the greatest
bad,
30s of any
absolute bad.
human. His 30s were electric. Okay. Like being a backup quarterback, I mean, you're getting paid like six
He's
mil a
either going to do
year.
that it's going to be Daniel Jones on the 49ers backup quarterback. It's just that cycle. Every quarterback makes a stop at
Who's
some
the
point in
current
2019.
Niners backup?
It's not
Who's the
CJ
current
Beathard
Niners back?
anymore. Um, oh, it's Josh Dobbs. It's Josh Dobbs. He might be QB3 now. Actually, I'm about to look at it.
Dobbs.
That's what I
Like,
said. Yeah. Could you
yeah,
not
it's
hear
like,
me?
hey,
I don't
Josh
know.
Dobbs, it's like Pastronaut, backup quarterback.
Oh,
Pastronaut,
it's
backup
Brandon
quarterback.
Allen.
Give me the backup
It's
quarterback.
it's Brandon Allen, and then Josh Dobbs is QB3.
Okay.
So still two. I mean, Josh Dobbs is the more notorious passer nine, all that stuff. But I mean, we got Sam Darnold who went
My
through there,
one
Jimmy
question is
Garoppolo for a bit.
sometimes I think not always, but sometimes QB3s might be live in scout team.
Oh
Some
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
so
No, for
I
sure.
woun't want to do that. I wouldn't
Never
want to be
forget. Hey,
live.
Brian Hoyer, always the go to scout team. Always the
Oh,
go to scout team
legend.
QB3. Absolute legend.
And recent. Well, now he starts, but like for I believe it was when the Panthers played the Commanders, Bryce Young had the greatest Jaden Daniels scout team quarterback play like ever. So we got to give credit to Bryce Young
Yeah,
too.
no, yeah, no,
Excellent
100%.
Jaden Daniels scout
No,
team quarterback. Phenomenal.
Daniel Jones has the potential to be the greatest scout team player of all time.
I think
He has the potential.
being like serious here, like he can probably simulate like not like a true mobile quarterback, but I'm talking mobile in the sense of like Aaron Rodgers. Like he
I
can
was going to
break a
say
sack,
Daniel Jones might
throw on the
be
run. He
if
can.
I was somebody who's really trying to scheme up the Buffalo Bills, I might give Daniel Jones a call. I might say, "Hey,
He
give me
might
your
be the
best
best
Josh
Josh
Allen
Allen scout.
impression." Yeah,
Actually,
he actually might be. He probably is.
I'm not even trying to like joke.
Yeah,
Like
no, he
literally,
is.
I think he is the
Quite
best
literally
Josh
the
Allen
best
scout
Josh
team
Allen impression.
quarterback.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So hey, I mean,
There's a role for everyone in this
yeah,
league.
there's always you can find a place.
There is a
Always find a
role.
place. Always find a
It just
place.
comes down to if you're willing to accept that role.
Yeah, I think
That's
Daniel
the
Jones
question.
is most likely very willing to
That's the
accept it.
$8 million backup quarterback question that
Yeah, no,
Jameis
I
Winston
did see
happily answers every
I
time.
did see somebody say, okay, Sam Darnold's going to get paid after this year. If I was the Vikings, I don't know, I'd throw 5 mil at Daniel Jones to be the QB2 behind JJ McCarthy. I was like, I really don't want that to happen, but also the
Well, I
vibes would
think
be
it's kind of
great.
a good. I think it's good because it's zero pressure on the starter. It's like, all
Also,
right,
there are
I have no threat of getting benched.
three coaches that I would trust with rehabilitating a formerly horrible quarterback. One is Kyle Shanahan. Two is Sean McVay. I'm getting a fraud alert while I'm saying this. That's not great. And three is Kevin O'Connell. Those are the three guys.
What about Andy? Andy Reid.
See, I trust Andy, but Andy is like a development from the start kind of guy. Or you need a veteran who's already got some presence coming in. Like, I don't think Andy. Well, I don't necessarily know if that's true. I was going to say I don't think Andy raised Alex Smith up, but he did a little bit. He did a little bit.
I think he helped him out a lot
Yeah,
when he
a
got
lot.
there.
It's just I think Andy's more of a I'm gonna make you good, but I'm only gonna make you good while you're on the Chiefs kind of guy. I think Alex Smith kind of had that, and he got that veteran presence, and he went to Washington. It was good. Like Alex
Yeah,
Smith
well,
was.
I mean, the groundwork was laid for Alex Smith at Utah under the great Urban Meyer, so it makes sense.
Yeah, no, we could
He just
throw.
had
We
to
could. I
follow the
mean,
yellow brick
yeah. I
road.
mean,
That's all Alex
it'd be
Smith had to do.
disrespectful to not throw Andy in there. So I guess throw Andy in there too. It'd be disrespectful not
I'd
to.
toss him in there.
It'd be disrespectful not to.
He's had a pretty good run of quarterbacks
Yeah,
in
you
his
know.
coaching career.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
those
sure
are.
if
I
he's
guess
ever like really had a
those
shitty quarterback.
are. Yeah, he won with Chad Henne a couple times. So hey,
Yeah, like I feel like in Philly they always had a quarterback.
Was he there when Mark Sanchez was still his quarterback too? Though he had Vic, he had McNabb. I don't know if he was there for the Sanchez years.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that would not be
I
good.
don't know.
That'd be a stain on his resume. But Grant,
Uh,
the other
well, I
thing.
think there's a lot of stains on Andy's resume. The whole playoff choker narrative that was
Oh, I
going on
thought
for
you were
like
gonna
our
go
entire
like I thought you were
childhood.
gonna go like Burger King meal vibes, like he was just spilling food on his resume. But that also works.
No,
Big In
no,
and Out fan,
that's not
big
what
In
I
and
was
Out fan.
thinking.
No, that's reserved for Mike Fat Carthy. My bad. That's the Denny's menu. Um,
Yeah, Mike Fat Carthy just fat.
but
Enough
all right,
said.
yeah. The other thing though, when we're talking about the New York teams, New York Giant, not New York Giants, New York Jets. Grant, you were talking about this earlier. Um, New York Jets
Yeah,
are an
absolute train
absolute
wreck disaster.
just dumpster fire right now. Just absolute just crap fest. Um, they are most likely going to move on from Aaron Rodgers after this year, Grant. I want you to bring up your point that you were talking about to me, and then I'm going to rebuttal it with what is actually going to end up happening, whether or not we like it. All right. I want you to bring up your point first, and then I'll share mine
About Aaron Rodgers,
about Aaron
right?
Rodgers. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, I mean, Jets absolute train wreck, disaster fire. That's not working out well. Like the owner, Woody Johnson, wanted to bench Aaron a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so that's not going to plan. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is done in the NFL, but I was hearing this from Big Cat, and I'm kind of with him on it as a man who's been Bears fan. He's been hurt by Aaron Rodgers. You know it quite well too. So, close relationship with the boogeyman. And he thinks a big part of this year that was a little different is that there wasn't really a chip on Aaron's shoulder. He was coming off an injury, yes, but
Hey, Anthony Barr
it's
can
not
make
like
that
there was
happen.
anything to
Anthony
like.
Barr can make it happen. All right. We can have it happen.
It's not, but it's not like this wasn't really quite like the prove it year. But next season, everyone's about to be shit talking. I mean, this starting now until week 1 next year, there won't be a positive thing published about Aaron Rodgers in the media. So he's going to be extra motivated next year. He's going to be very mad. And Aaron Rodgers is like one of the most petty humans ever. Like, forget athletes, humans, one of the most petty humans ever. And what would hurt the Jets the most? Like, obviously, he's not going to the Bills or the Patriots, but what's next? The Giants. And Aaron Rodgers of the Giants, they have a quarterback opening. The Giants, they would gladly take Aaron Rodgers. They're a train wreck disaster in their own right. Aaron Rodgers just, I don't know how far away the practice facilities are from each other. I would guess not too far,
Probably
but
not
yeah,
that
just
far.
move across town. Probably don't change apartments, and just go to the Giants.
Yeah, Grant. So that might be what you think is going to happen. This is what's really going to happen, and I'm not exactly a fan of it, but this is what's going to happen.
Real quick, is he a free agent after this year, or is it just like you can cut him for Jack?
I think cut him. I think it's cutting him. I think he's
Cut him for okay.
Grant, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Minnesota Viking this season.
Oh, you did show me this.
Yeah.
Would you want that though?
No, that's why I'm not really happy about it, but it's unfortunately most.
Like he might.
Let's be honest.
It's force JJ McCarthy to go into accounting or something. Like,
well, I'm gonna be honest. It's definitely not happening. But for the sake of this, it's happening. All right, and I'm not happy about it. Yeah. So obviously Brett Favre, discount the Falcons. All right. That never happened. He was never on the Falcons. Brett Favre, Packers, Jets, just disaster train wreck on the Jets, comes back, plays for the Vikings. Grant, Aaron Rodgers, Packers, disaster on the Jets. Yeah, he has the chance to do what Brett Favre could not. And because Aaron Rodgers is so petty, I would expect him to say, hey, Brett, you went to the Vikings. You didn't win it. I'm going to go to the Vikings. I'm going to win it. I'm going to show that I'm better than you. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Minnesota Viking. And also,
I can see that
point
storyline and path.
On the point
going
about
on
JJ McCarthy, by the way.
Yeah.
On the point of JJ McCarthy, by the way. All right. Didn't actually play full rookie year. Hasn't been able to really practice or anything. MCL surgery. All right. Maybe you want to give him some time to come out of that surgery. Don't start him right away. Don't start a basically rookie right away. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers to come through there. All right, give him a year.
Well, I'm just not sure that'd be the greatest dynamic.
Oh no, it would not.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers would.
I'm not. I am not pro this.
Any help.
I am not pro this. I am not pro this.
I would. If this happens, I'm gonna email Roger Goodell and force him to put Vikings on Hard Knocks because I need to watch.
I would. I don't think
every day in the quarterback meeting room, like literally the last time when it was Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson, but like Aaron Rodgers knows there's zero threat. Zach will take his job. Like this time around, it's like, yeah, so am I handing the ball off or is it a play action? Gets around. I was like, yeah, you stupid idiot. Go back to Michigan. You're such a bum. You don't know what it's like to play in a man's league. You don't even know what it's like to play against real men. It would be must watch.
I don't think that the Vikings have ever had an opportunity besides maybe 2 years to be on Hard Knocks because you can't have a first year head coach and you can't have made the playoffs. Those are like the two stipulations.
I have no idea what. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that those are the two requirements. And in the
is there a rule on like how long in between you have to do it again than when you last did it?
Yeah, you like it has to be. I think like
once every 8 years,
or whatever. Yeah,
maximum.
But it's also like you can't have made the playoffs within like the last 2 seasons or something like that. So the Vikings would only qualify like once or twice in the last decade. And
yeah, I think that's an interesting thought process because, like, objectively speaking, like this past season, you know, Bears are cool and all, but like I'd be much more interested in like the Buffalo Bills Hard Knocks.
That was at least like, for out of season for preseason. In season, I think is different.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking specifically like the main one. I'm thinking.
Well, yeah, that the main one's preseason, but like in season this year, they're doing Ravens, Steelers, Browns,
yeah, the whole division,
Bengals, right? They're doing everybody.
Well, the Jameis should have. I may have to tune in for the Jameis moments.
Yeah, but also like, tell me,
I'll watch 30 minutes of that one episode when it comes on.
North this year, like I know AFC North, just everybody wants to kill each other, but the NFC North this year would have been beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
That would have been great. NFC West would have been great this year to watch. I mean, to be honest, I'm excited for the AFC North chapter for the Harbaugh game. I'll watch that episode. Yeah. I'll be watching that one. There's gonna be good content actually for the Bengals Ravens games this year.
Like, I really hope I get to watch. Well, unfortunately, it can't be Antonio Brown cleating a kicker's face this time, but something. Give me something. Whether it's Myles Garrett swinging helmets. Or somebody,
to this day, one of the punter. Like, if it weren't for George Pickens, like, quite literally, like, assaulting dudes with the football itself in game, like, Antonio Brown, those moments, and, like, I'm not even talking about retiring mid-game, but when he just kicked the punter in the face, I was just like, all right, okay, that's the state of the NFL that we're in, and...
Let's go back to that.
Play ball.
Let's go back to that. I missed that.
Phenomenal times.
All right, Grant. Let's get into the game slate for this week. Week 12. I went 9-5 last week. You
went 10-4.
Okay, so I'll be reading.
Am I one game behind you overall?
I'm currently 95 and
I'm 94-55. So you're 95-54.
Yeah, so you're catching up on me. It's big week. It is a big week.
But
you're laughing, but also
it's the highest we've either been ever
I will
this
say
season.
you're laughing at the fact that it's historically is what happens, but also like it's not
The
like
trends
it's
are trending
it's
up.
it's not like I've fallen off this year like in years past. Like I'm still going positive each
No, no,
week.
no, no. I want to say this year, I think it's ironic because like this year, I feel like it's one of the hardest NFL
Yeah.
schedules to like
So
accurately predict.
real quick, Grant, I just want to read you my this is my trend sheet. All right. Week 6, I went 12-2, 7, 10, and 5, 8, 11, and 5, 9, 11, and 4. And then immediately week 10, 8 and 6, week 11, 9 and 5. Now we're into week 12. But hey, still positive as a change on me. I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens. You just hit that week 11. I just dropped 2 games instantly.
Yeah, I believe 2 weeks ago I just had a 12-3 week.
Yeah, I don't know
How
what.
how?
Yeah, I don't know what metrics
What?
you're looking at. I don't know what happens when you get
Me
in the middle
neither.
of the
Well,
season.
that was, I mean, ironically, I remember that week was the one week where I spent the least amount of time picking it. And I was
Well,
like,
maybe
yeah,
that's
that's how this
trend.
shit works.
Okay, Grant. So here, let's get into to the game slate here. Uh, so tonight we're recording this at 3:24 p.m. Central on Thursday, November 21st. So before the game starts. All right, not like I don't think we're gonna be any different on that game, no matter what. But still, Thursday night, Steelers at Browns. On to Sunday, noon games. Vikings at Bears, Lions at Colts, Patriots at Dolphins, Bucks at Giants, Cowboys at Commanders, Chiefs at Panthers, and Titans at Texans. 3 o'clock games, we got Broncos at Raiders, 49ers at Packers, Cardinals at Seahawks, and that night game is going to be the Eagles at Rams. Monday night, Harbaugh Bowl. Don't need to say anything else. It's in Los Angeles. All right, I'm looking at one of these games. I might need to make a game time adjustment real quick. Hold on. No, never mind.
I've got one. I would say I just have one. What the hell game of the week?
Okay. All right. Grant, here we go.
It's a divisional matchup. I think you can guess it, but yeah.
Steelers.
It happens to be a team I don't have a read on all year, but yeah.
Steelers, Vikings, Lions. I had the Dolphins. I'm switching it. Patriots. The Patriots. That was the one I was sitting there. I don't know why. But give me the Patriots. Bucks, Commanders, Chiefs, Texans, Broncos country. Let's ride. 49ers, even though I guarantee you it's snowing in Lambeau. Cardinals, Rams, and Ravens.
Okay. Yeah. So here, my what the hell is Cardinals Seahawks. I'm going with Cardinals because they're coming off the bye. I'll go with them, but I can't get a read on the Arizona Cardinals to save my life.
I know you can.
I have no idea how they work, how they operate. The bus, Grant, I am not on it. Bus. I do not have a ticket. I do not have a seat on the bus.
Not stop for you. It did not stop for you.
Blew right by the stop sign when I was sitting right there. I'm like, hey, the hell? Well, I'm trying to jump in. What the hell?
Not accept your ticket.
They are. Yeah, no, they're not stopping at my bus stop. They're blowing right by. Blowing red lights. Yeah, I can't get a read on the Cardinals, but here are my picks. Steelers, Vikings, Lions, Dolphins, Bucks, Commanders, Chiefs, Texans. Real quick pause. Maybe the least competitive early slate I've ever read in my life. I mean, wow. Like this is I never do it, but this is the week where it's like, yeah, let's just throw like a 15 team all favorite money line parlay and just sit. Like this might be the week. These spreads are ridiculous. Afternoon. Broncos, Packers, Cardinals, Eagles, and I have to pick the Chargers every week, but I actually
think that it's.
I actually do like the Chargers this
you
week.
Could go either way. So we got 4 different games, Grant. Patriots.
This
could be a tied swing.
It's gonna be a very big swing week potentially, unless we split.
This is a swing week.
We probably would split these 4 games, but yeah.
But look, I'm gonna make my arguments for those games first. All right, and then you can
I also
rebuttal
got
me.
one other game we're both on that I'm circling. Like, is there a trap line? But yeah, okay, let's go over
Bucks,
those four.
because that's also the one that I
No,
might be
no, not
circling.
that.
I
No,
am kind
no,
of circling that.
no.
Um,
The Tommy DeVito magic. He needs like one or two games under his belt before he can pull off
yeah.
a win.
So
If
first of
they play
all,
on Thanksgiving next week against the Cowboys, give me
they they
DeVito.
they they do.
Give me DeVito.
They are playing.
DeVito's winning on Thanksgiving. Boom. That's it. That's the win.
By the way, don't watch
That's
that
the
game.
win.
Watch Tulane Memphis. Thank you.
Oh,
But
oh, I
yeah,
will be watching that.
we're the
I will
Thanksgiving
be
night
watching
game.
that.
We are the Thanksgiving night game. So
Okay. 5 p.m. start.
I for Pacific,
Pacific.
I think
7
so.
p.m. your time.
Yeah, I think so. We're a night
Okay.
game. But Grant, so last second switch here, Patriots instead of the Dolphins. Patriots lost 10-15 early on.
Oh, their defense
the
is scrappy, feisty.
Early on in the
chippy.
season. That was with Jacoby Brissett starting at quarterback. To be fair, Tyler Huntley was also
think that
starting.
That may have been the game where Jacoby Brissett was 3 of 19 passing to his wide receivers, and of course Jalen Polk had to catch one of them for a touchdown.
But I know Tyler Huntley was starting. I know it's different, but also these Patriots, Grant, they barely.
And we're talking these Patriots,
lost.
not those Patriots.
Not those Patriots. These Patriots.
These Patriots.
These Patriots, Grant, barely lost to the Rams last week and just dismantled the Bears the week before that.
Oh yeah. Oh, their defense is nothing to.
Which is why I'm kind of sitting here and I'm like, look, I know that the Dolphins right now, Dolphins are in a playoff hunt, all right, but I like the defense.
Yeah, it's not looking great in that playoff hunt for them, but yeah, they are in the hunt.
They're in the hunt.
Yes.
Yes. But this is a big game for just morality. And I think that Drake
morality or team morale?
Team morale. Just morale. Morality maybe for Mike McDaniel.
We got good versus evil, Catholic versus convicts in this game, folks.
Well, it depends which player we're talking about. But
I would say neither of these organizations are quite the most holy moral organizations.
No, they're not. Yeah. Also depends which owner we're talking about, which neither of them qualify. But
neither.
Yeah, no,
qualify.
neither. But Drake May, I think
it's bad versus bad. Yeah, evil versus evil.
Drake May might be bringing some sauce, Grant, and Drake May. The vibes on Drake May is solely why I am going Patriots.
All right, some May vibes. Okay,
but here are the other games. All right, 49ers. I was looking at. This is my issue. I might be getting too analytical, but I was looking at Brock Purdy's just stats, cold weather stats. He's basically won a majority of the cold weather games that he's played in, and he also played at Iowa State, so I'm not counting the weather aspect of it. I think CMC being back and actually being back now and having a week or two under his belt is going to make a little bit of a difference. Plus, the Packers barely beat the Bears, so kind of concerning to me on that. Rams, the Eagles, Grant, the Eagles just don't. I don't know. The Rams are moving. The Rams are moving right now, and the Eagles just kind of still rubbing me the wrong way this season.
My one thing about the here's one thing about the Rams. So I'll say recently, one thing I've noticed, and I haven't seen many people bringing it up, but Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk have really been coming into their own right over the course of the season on that defensive line, and I mean that was going to be one of the biggest question marks for the Rams. How do we replace Aaron Donald? Pretty big piece to replace. So that was a big question going into this season. And Verse especially is playing very well. Obviously that Rams secondary is just oh my God, holy moly. But they're looking better on that defensive front seven. I still think, O-line, they're still got some guys out, and I really think that just derailed the whole season. Tyron Williams specifically is
when you lose your
having one of the least efficient. Oh no, it's going to be very hard.
You also lose that and your top two wide receivers. Yeah, it makes it kind of difficult to do anything. So all you do is
it's going to be very rolled. And yeah, things are going to get a little difficult. But yeah, The Rams, I'm just not so, like I thought the Rams would look better these past couple weeks. From like what I
I
expect
don't think that they
preseason.
looked
Like
bad.
it's not quite the Rams I expected. Like they're not quite the world beaters.
Well, I don't
Like I
necessarily know if
expected.
I ever expected a world beater out of the Rams.
Well, I expected the Rams to have one of the best offenses in the NFL, like easily. Cup,
Yeah. Also, keep
Puka.
in mind, keep in mind though, Grant. Like a lot of these other teams that have been looking good offensively have now had 11 weeks to ramp up their efficiency and just get into the thick of things. Where this
Well, I
Rams
don't think the
offense,
Rams have done that.
that's my point is the Rams offense hasn't had time to actually play live football together in the same manner. So where all these other state of all these
Oh,
offenses
I
are
agree.
now
I
11
just don't
weeks,
think the
they've had
Eagles are
like
the week that
three.
they're going to get it right.
No, I
And
didn't, but I didn't say they're going to get it right, but I do think that they're going to play better than the Eagles will. That doesn't mean winning the game is not dependent on whether or not it clicks for them at all in one moment. They can win without it clicking, but it's just a matter of
well,
ramp
sure.
up.
It's just I'm not sure if the Rams offense will be at the expectations that I thought they were going to be. And just with that in mind, I'll take the Eagles.
I really hope you say this now, and then Cooper Kupp hits a 98-yard touchdown pass, first play of the game.
Like the one thing about the Eagles, I'll say, like, I mean, DeJean's kind of been getting cooked, not gonna lie, but like Quinyon Mitchell, pretty good.
Get Daniel Jones out there. Let's get Daniel Jones out there, highest paid safety in the league. screw DeJean.
Here's the thing about the like I'm not like sold on the Eagles. Like
Quinyon
that's
Mitchell looks
that's
nice,
an
though.
no, yeah, yes, but like the Eagles, I'm not like sold on. Also, Zach Bond's been really good. But like
Yeah, I remember 2 years ago when
I think Eagles are maybe win a playoff game, sure, but like nah.
Yeah, I remember
They're
2 years ago we were doing the
making
Saints
noise.
offseason wish list, and I was like, get Zach Bond the fuck off this team. Doing well now.
Yeah, he's turned it around. Like situations change, things happen.
Yeah. Hey, I don't blame you for not wanting to do well in the Saints either. All right, I don't blame you for that. But I mean, like this is a welterweight fight either way, I think, and it does have major playoff implications.
Wait,
but
welterweight. I'm not sure if I've ever heard that term. Welterweight. Welterweight.
It's a belter. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I'm unfamiliar with the term, but
hey,
keep going.
Maybe I'm making things up, and if I am, hey, that's Waterboy lingo. All right, but I meant welterweight.
I'm looking up belterweight.
I think I meant welterweight.
Yeah, no belterweight.
Welterweight
corrects to welterweight.
Yeah, welterweight.
The 175-pound.
My brain did not autocorrect that one. Unfortunately. But yeah, I think it's a welterweight fight, and I think that there's gonna have it's gonna have large playoff.
Wait, what does that mean though? Welterweight. Wait, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Wait,
it's just like a very high level, like important match, like between two heavy fighters.
So a heavyweight fight.
Yeah, it's like okay,
but it's welterweight.
Welterweight, according to me.
Okay, go on.
Anyways, I think that it's gonna have very big impacts, and I think that with the Rams getting hotter, I don't necessarily think the Eagles beating the Commanders is a very big win for them, but I feel like the Rams have just been hotter lately, so I'm just kind of going with that.
Wait, what do you mean the Rams have been hotter than the Eagles? The Eagles have won 1, 2, 3, 6 straight.
No, I know that they've won 6 straight, but I'm just saying like the teams. I think that based on where the Rams were, right? The Rams have gotten through adversity, have gone through that, have been tested to it, and have come back through it. They have beaten the Vikings, beat the Seahawks, all right? Like close loss to the Packers, beat the 49ers. Like I think that they're more prepared going into this game than the Eagles might be to face a team like that.
But like the Eagles just like beat the Commanders last week.
I know, but wasn't the whole point about the Commanders that they hadn't played anybody? Like that was the biggest knock on the Commanders was that they had not played anybody good.
So
They had not faced
wait,
adversity playing anybody good. But like I'm saying, look at outside of that win versus the Bengals, the Eagles have played absolutely nobody. I'm going to discount
wait,
week one.
but
Week
I
one
mean
is so far. Week one
the
is
Rams
so
have
far.
kind of just beaten you.
They've beaten us.
Like the Niners are 5-5. We can't really give them that much credit for the
No,
Niners
but
win.
you still
The Seahawks, I mean Raiders, you're getting zero credit. Patriots, you don't get credit for that. You should be winning that shit. Seahawks, I'll give credit. That's tough. Going to Seattle, that's hard.
I'm just saying. I think like
5-5.
obviously for the Eagles, the Commanders game bona fide like is a good win, right? Interdivision game. The one knock with the Commanders is that they had no experience playing a good team to that point. They had not beaten anybody who was a good team, right? So they hadn't really faced adversity in that same manner. Um, and for the Eagles, outside of them, they played a Bengals team. They won against that Bengals team that's kind of been like 6 weeks removed now. But they haven't played anybody. And I think the Rams overall have just played better teams than the Eagles have and have played those teams more closely than the Eagles have.
Just help me out. Like Patriots, Seahawks, Raiders. Those are like the awful wins. The Rams.
You're talking about the Rams?
Yeah, Eagles awful wins. Okay.
Wait. You're talking about the Seahawks as an awful win?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, or Rams.
Yeah. But in that one, you said the Seahawks. You said Seahawks, Patriots, and Raiders in that list of wins.
Yeah, I'm tossing the Seahawks in there. They're not that great. Like I think it's tough going to Seattle, but like I'm not going to sit here and say Seattle's crazy.
I'm not saying that they're crazy, but I would probably put them like I'd put them above majority of the wins. I'd probably put them in the same field as the Bengals in that week 6 win that the Eagles had over the Bengals.
Okay. So Rams beat the Seahawks 26-20 on the road. Mm-hmm. Eagles beat the Bengals 37-17 on the road.
Yeah, that's also I think that just was so early in the season though. It's a little bit different. Plus, they were down.
Those happened in like the same week.
That was like week 6. No, Seahawks was 2 weeks ago.
The Eagles beat the Bengals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Week 8 because they had a bye.
Okay, so then this was week 10.
Throttled the Bengals like 3 weeks ago.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I think that overall, just the ramp up of competition, like the Rams have not all these losses the Rams have essentially have been without their team jiving because they've been down players. So now that they're in ramp up mode, right? I just think that the Eagles, compared to what like they've been having going on, that the Rams have a higher ceiling with them ramping up versus what the Eagles in that situation.
I'd agree with that.
And I'm relying
I just don't
on
think
that
this
fact.
Is the week that it gets
I'm
right.
relying on that fact because I think also the Rams team has now had enough time to test it that this would be the ramp up week of any week. Like outside of this, you don't have much time to ramp up, Grant. Like you play the Eagles, you could play at Saints. But then you play Bills, you play 49ers, you play Jets, you play like you got to figure it out. And this would be the ramp up week. This is where you got to kick it up a peg. If I know anything about Sean McVay, he does that.
I think they objectively have to. I think Rams have a nice 3-game streak to end the year. Jets, Cardinals. Cardinals, Seahawks is rolled. That's rolled. That's not easy. That's not easy for the Rams.
Yeah. But also with the Harbaugh Bowl, Jim has never
pretty safe in the playoffs. 8-2, like
for the Vikings.
We're probably
good.
Yeah. Okay.
We're still fighting for the 1 seed though. One loss
like
behind. I saw this today, by the way. Somebody
and you haven't played them.
I think it was Dan Orlovsky was talking about who like the best competition to the Lions to win the NFC would be right now, like to get the 1 seed. He listed the Packers and the Rams, and he was like, "Who else?" Didn't list the Vikings.
The Rams.
Didn't list the Vikings, even though the Vikings lost by 2 points on a walk-off field goal to the Lions in a game where they had identical stats. Basically, all the margins were identical. So
that game was a backbreaker, though.
Yeah, I mean, one game back, it's still possible to come back. I'm not stressed. I'm not sweating it. But Grant, with the Ravens Chargers, the Harbaugh Bowl, Jim Harbaugh has never beaten John Harbaugh in a game.
How many do we know? Do you know how many times they've played before? Was it just
I
that
believe
Super Bowl?
three,
They probably have played
three
before.
times,
Three. Okay.
or
Oh, and
two
three
or three
lifetime.
times. He's 0-2
Okay.
or 0-3 lifetime.
So obviously the Harbaugh Bowl is the big thing. Super Bowl rematch from
Also, very big playoff implications.
13 years ago?
Yes.
Was that how long ago it was? 12,
Wasn't it
13? Super Bowl, lights go out, Beyonce performance.
It was 2012.
Yeah.
That
The
sounds right.
2011-12 season.
Yeah.
That sounds accurate.
Was that who was that? Was that 40? Yeah, 49ers Ravens was Russ's. It was Russ's rookie season, I think, was that year, because he went to the Super Bowl the next year. So it had to be 2012.
And the year after was Sherman tip to Crabtree going to Aaron Andrews. Don't ever try me with a sorry receiver.
Yeah, it had to be 2012.
Yeah, but I mean, Harbaugh has both Harbaughs have a very deep history in the NFL. They've been coaches for a very long time. Their father was a coach. Like, they know a lot of people in the NFL, college, just football in general. But there are a couple of things I saw that I want to go over for this game that I found pretty interesting. So, of course, the Harbaugh brothers storylines, everybody's aware of that. But some other things I want to point out. So when Jim Harbaugh took over at Michigan in 2015, Everett, the reason he left the 49ers and became the coach of Michigan, now the 49ers, things were going downhill.
Negatively.
It was turning bad. He never had a losing season or a negative season in San Francisco, but his last season in San Francisco, he went 8-8. It was about to turn dark. I believe Chip Kelly took over. Yeah, we saw how that one turned out. So
that's
Harbaugh left.
Grant.
Oh yeah, no, I'm aware. You wonder why I'm concerned about Ohio State for the rest of the season. But a big reason he left San Francisco to go to Michigan is because he wasn't the GM of the 49ers, and they were not going to let him be Belichick and have coaching and GM responsibilities. Jim Harbaugh, to put it simply, is a control freak. He likes to run things his way. He doesn't like having restrictions on him. He likes doing what he believes is best for his team to win. That's the only thing he cares about, winning, like every coach should be primarily focused on. But that was a big reason he went to Michigan. He is the CEO of the Michigan football program. He does everything from player roster to stadium to booster stuff, you name it. Harbaugh has a say in everything about Michigan football. And another thing, when he was at Michigan football, Harbaugh, and he knows this from his mentor, the great Bo Schembechler. Bo Schembechler is the man who said that head coaches should be responsible for absolutely everything and anything in their program. If anything happens within a football program, you should and can place all blame or responsibility on the head coach. He should know everything going on at all times. And if he doesn't, then the coach should be fired for not knowing that, because it's his job to be aware of everything going on, especially as a college football coach. But that's coming from his all-time GOAT mentor, Coach Bo. But Harbaugh, realizing everything, gets put blame on him. He was making some bad coordinator hires when he started out at Michigan, some pretty poor hires. And so a way to solve these problems.
Where is this going?
We're about to tie into a lot here. To solve a lot of these problems, he would call up his brother, John, go through his roster of assistants and just be like, yeah, can I have him, and him, do like a rental Michigan, like a rent tryout program for a year or two, and then I'll just send them right back to you when they're done. So you could just help me out here real quick, John. Anyway, what I'm getting at is every single assistant that Jim Harbaugh has started out as John Harbaugh's assistant. Like everybody on the Chargers staff used to coach for the Ravens under John Harbaugh. They know everything about John Harbaugh. Jesse Minter was the longtime DB coach in Baltimore. Marlon Humphrey says to this day, Jesse Minter's like the best coach I've ever had in my life. But I would imagine Minter knows a thing or two about the Ravens secondary, how they play. Joe Ortiz was the assistant GM of the Ravens. He may have an idea or two of their roster construction and what they're trying to do. I don't know how you stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. I don't know if anyone does. We're still trying to like figure out how to do that as an NFL community. We might need 3 Diane Henleys to stop Derrick and Lamar, and I don't know if we could do that. But
hey, I heard Linval Joseph is still a free agent, so
I would love to have him. And please tell me it was him. It was him on the sidelines with the oxygen mask and the glasses.
Sunglasses, yeah.
Good. Yeah. Okay, just making sure I had that correct. But yeah, what I want to get at, like every assistant other than Navarro Bowman, every assistant on the Chargers staff coached under John Harbaugh, and they know a thing or two. Like even Greg Roman was literally the Baltimore OC like 2 years ago. Like they're all from Baltimore. So I think that gives Jim a leg. And I think Jim is I don't know about you, Everett, but I would imagine Jim Harbaugh probably spent his July thinking about this game. You know, I would imagine he's had this game circled for a while.
There's probably more issues going on in the Chargers that he had to deal with first than thinking about whether or not the Ravens game was going to matter. Obviously cares about the Ravens game, but I don't know if that was his primary focus in July.
Yeah, probably not. But, you know, I think he spent more time thinking about that game than many others.
No, I get the point. I also, like, obviously you coach to win. Most people were thinking that the Chargers were not even going to be in competition.
I didn't. When they were like 4-2, I was still like, all right, let's start tanking now. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how I look at this team.
We'll see. I mean, look, hey, at the end of the day, John is the older brother. At the end of the day, John is the older brother. He's big bro. And by that standard, there is never any more motivation ever needed than for the older brother to prove that he is better than their younger. That is the only motivation that is only ever needed.
Yeah, and it's like I'm pretty sure John, like I saw I believe it was like a Harbaugh interview like posted by the Ravens or Chargers social team, and they were talking. John Harbaugh was saying like growing up, like yeah, like Jim passed me in height pretty quickly, and you know when it came to athletic competitions, Jim would have me beat. But I think he like said something along the lines though. But as older brother, you know, perfect win-loss record coaching when it comes to the brain, older brother's smarter one. So yeah, go figure. Like said something like that to Jim, and I could like see the blood boiling in Jim Harbaugh's body when John was taking his victory lap. He was like, no, never again. But you know, Chargers got all the motivation in the world to go out and win this game. I don't know how you stop Lamar and Derrick Henry, though. So, yeah, the Ravens will probably win this game. But, yeah, this is game of the year for the Chargers. If Chargers win this, 8-3, Ravens will be 7-5. Chargers are pretty good playoff-wise.
I mean,
pretty good if they could. I
don't know who
the
Chiefs back end of.
I'm talking wild card. We're not winning our division. I'm talking wild card.
I wanna just look real quick because I mean that would put you 2 games back of the Chiefs right now. You could pick up one. Hey, hold on. All right,
let me. Real tough stretch up
here.
Hold on.
Hey.
I'm open. I'm open to it.
You know, there's not.
Sell me.
All right.
Sell me
back
on
again.
This.
You're back again. You're back 2 games. You can pick up one of those when you play the Chiefs. All right.
True. Very true. In Arrowhead, which is where Herbert actually can win. He can't win in SoFi.
At the end of the year, the Chiefs have to play the Texans,
Steelers and Broncos,
a stiff Browns defense, just the defense, Probably doesn't matter. Stiff Browns defense, Steelers, and the Broncos, who definitely want to pick up that win after last game. And it's in Denver. It's in Mile High.
Yeah, my only concern is for that last game, they may just have the division clinched, and
Well,
we'll
we're
see.
looking at possibilities. If it's a one, if you beat the Chiefs, Grant, if you win against the Ravens, all right, you got to beat the Falcons, which you can do. And if you beat the Chiefs, all right, it is a one game lead that they have, all right, to wrap this season up. I'm not concerned about the Bucks. I'm concerned about the Broncos, but I'm not concerned about the Patriots or the Raiders. All right. It is foreseeable that you have a potential outcome where you win the AFC West. You need to win this game.
You know, it's on the table.
You need to win this game, and you need to beat the Chiefs for there to be a possibility. The Chiefs' back end of the schedule is marginally harder than the Chargers is. Grant, they play the Steelers, the Broncos, like they play.
Well, we play Broncos too.
Yeah, but I'm more concerned the Broncos would rather play up to the Chiefs. They probably just like,
I'm just looking like these next four.
But Grant, Texans, Steelers, Broncos
are looking pretty spicy for. No, I know about Broncos. Us. I'm looking at the Chiefs though. Like we're chasing them.
Yeah, but Texas,
Panthers, Raiders, roll over win. Then they got us, but they have a bye week going into us. Or they have a long
Herbie head. Herbie head. All right.
And oh god, and it's prime time, Everett.
Hey, you're not Kirk Cousins.
I'm just concerned for Justin.
Let's keep in mind Patrick Mahomes is playing poorly. Let's wrap. Do you have anything for college football? Any important facts for college football? We'll wrap it with that real quick.
Yeah, there's some stuff. The Ohio State Buckeyes 2024 season is over. Starting center Seth McLaughlin tore his Achilles on Tuesday, will be out for the season. Ohio State going into this year, the question mark was already the offensive line. Going into the season, the only two bright spots on the offensive line were our left tackle and center, Josh Simmons and Seth McLaughlin. Both are now out for the season with torn ACLs, Achilles injuries. Ohio State's backup left tackle is also hurt right now. We had our guard move over to tackle. So many moving pieces around on the O-line. And does this make me concerned about Indiana, Michigan, those games? No, I still expect Ohio State to win those. But it's like, yeah, it just sucks that, this year they were all in. They went out, got so many guys in the portal. Everybody came back. I thought this was going to be the natty year, and it's not going to happen. So that sucks. It's not like the season's completely over, but it's just a bummer knowing that we don't like control our own destiny. Like for Ohio State to win the natty this year, we're going to need to have some breaks go our way, which is a bit disappointing considering how they were at the start of the year, where if they just went up and played their game, they should win the natty. But yeah, the Ohio State season looks to be pretty much over. Still think they're going to beat Indiana. I'm not concerned about that. But yeah, that's a bummer for Ohio State. Seth McLaughlin out for the year, torn Achilles. Prayers up for Seth. Other college, well, actually, real quick, there was one other thing I want to look at this weekend. Or actually, just in general, we can go over it next week. We'll have stuff shake up with SEC, but I think the groundwork has been laid.
Now, if we start talking about the SEC now, it's going for another 45 minutes.
I think the groundwork has been laid, though, by the committee to have Indiana in this playoff. Like Indiana, they could lose to Ohio State by 20, and they're still in at 11-1. It's just and there's a good chance it happens. Like Ohio State when they play these top 10 teams, like a Michigan State a few years back, or like an Indiana, like they have a tendency to mop the floor with them. So like if Ohio State like 56 sevens Indiana, they might be left out of the playoff. But I don't think Ohio State's capable of doing that.
I would
The
doubt
big
it.
key to this game though is going to
I would
be
doubt it.
uh Indiana, is their run defense real or not? Right now, they have the number one run defense in the Big Ten. However, so far they have played the six worst teams in the Big Ten this season. So don't know how much value you can put into their number one run defense, but you'll know after three drives if their run defense is real or not. You'll know, not even. You'll know after a drive and a half, maybe two sets of downs, and you'll know.
I will find out. We will find out. Yeah, I mean, anything
Actually, the
else?
last point I had was Indiana extended Kurt Signetti right before this game. They did exactly what Michigan State did with Mel Tucker. They extended Mel Tucker Everett to like a 8-year, $90 million extension the week before Ohio State, right after they beat Michigan.
So
And
you're
then
telling me to
Ohio
be
State.
concerned if I'm an Indiana Hoosier fan.
Yeah. And then the week after Mel Tucker lost to, at halftime, it was 49-0. Ohio State had 500 total yards of offense at the half. Michigan State had 70. That was the first half
I don't
stats.
think it's going to be
500
like that,
yards and a half, Everett.
This guy from Indiana? Is he the former JMU coach?
JMU.
It's a little bit different. I feel like
Yeah. It wasn't like a $10 million. Indiana doesn't have that money. Like if I was reading it correctly, it's like it was like a 7-year deal, but he can get bought out. Like it's not like he's going to be the Indiana head coach till
well,
2031.
it's also like if they truly think that he's their guy, you want to make the buyout so high that no other team would be like, I'm going to buy you. Or
Yeah,
no,
no,
like,
yeah,
I'm buying you.
exactly.
But
Yeah,
that's also it comes with risk. Like, hey, if I'm Tulane right now, up that buyout, up that buyout. If I'm Tulane, John Summerall, I'm making that as high as physically possible
yeah, and
so
it's
that he
also
stays.
like what we talked Tulane specifically. Like you feel very confident in Summerall over the next however
Decade.
many years, so
Yeah.
you feel very comfortable giving
Yeah.
him that. Like same with Indiana, they feel very comfortable letting Signetti run the ship for the next 15 years if he wanted to. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
sign us up. If you
Yeah.
want to stay here for 15, let's do that tonight. So yeah.
Yeah. But with that, I think we're gonna wrap up here. So thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at Waterboy You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everstakes and at Waterboy Grant. We post new episodes every week on YouTube and all podcast platforms. So make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We also post exclusive content on Instagram and on TikTok. So check us out there as well. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboy is out.